Ready when you are. Good evening and welcome to Crossroads Christian Ministries training session on tonight. This is our Tuesday night, and we call it self-study tonight. And I'm going to pick up where I left off on our last training session. I'm talking about preparation for the shift. And this is going to be part 2 of it, preparing ourselves for the shift. As we can remember from our last session, shift means that we're getting ready to move from one place to another. And what the Lord has really stressed upon my heart was that we were to gird up the loins of our minds. And also we need to also be really, really careful about what it is we are allowing to take our attention in this day and in this time. And I'm going to give it to you because on yesterday, when he woke me up, he dealt with me about the shift part 2. And what he said was, he said he has a plan. He said, because the place that we're now in, it has been compromised. The place has been compromised. And with him saying that, I was like, the place has been compromised. But what was being done, what is being done in the place is to get us to move. That's why we can't stay. But then he began to say that there's so many people that's trying to fix things. And you're not going to be able to fix what he's sending and what he has sent. Because what he sent is designed to get us to move. The place that we're in has been compromised. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say it has been compromised? We're not comfortable no more in this place. You're not safe anymore in this place. The place has been compromised because it's a part of the plan that God has devised for his people to get us to move. Stop on today. Stop trying to do whatever you believe that it's going to take to make everything all right. That's not what it's designed to do. You can't make this all right. The people of God will understand that. We will see what is going on, and then we will gird up the loins of our minds, and we'll move into the direction and in the direction that God is sending us to, knowing that this is all a part of the plan of God. He said that time is up for us in this place. And it's so good because I had somebody to tell me, say, you know what, I'm kind of scared. Scared for what? God said his people would never be ashamed, and we should never be afraid. Why? Because he said that he would never leave us, he would never forsake us, and yet he has already sent a Savior to save us. So fear only comes from the spirit in which you allow it to operate into your heart. You allow fear to come into your heart to cause you to see something other than what God is saying at this time. Don't do that. The only way that you're able and will be able to see and to be able to go in the direction in which God is now calling his people to go into is that our ears will be open. And we can't see where God is sending us because our ears are not open to hear. And that's a problem, but not for the people of God. That's not a problem, for we know what he's saying, and we are going to abide by what he's telling us to do. He gave me Jeremiah 29:11, but he gave it to me in a different way, because this now it's the same word, but now he's giving it to us for this period in time in which we are now living. And it also always said, for I know the thoughts that I think towards you. God said that. So we're going to move in his thoughts. It's okay. We're going to move in the thoughts of God. He said this. He said he knows what he's thinking towards us. Obedience is going to get us into his thoughts. And what he's thinking towards us, as long as we be obedient to what he's saying, we're going to be able to move in the thought pattern of God. He said, for I know the thoughts that I think towards you. God has said it. And he says it's what? He says it's thoughts of peace and not of evil. He also told us in the word, he said that we were to pray for peace. Pray for the peace in the cities in which we live. That's what he told us to do. He said to pray for peace. That way he said that we will have peace. He's doing this, he said, because he's going to give us an expected end. But before I give you that, can I tell you how he told me and what he showed me concerning the place that we're in being compromised? And here he goes again. He said it's time to move. He took me back to the story that's written in the word concerning Joshua and how it was whenever the famine came into the land. Was it Joshua? Joseph. Whenever the famine came in the land, but God had already had Joseph to go through everything that he went through to get to the place. See, he had already had a plan for Joseph's life. And the plan for Joseph's life included the saving of other lives. So what he was showing me was when he said the place has been compromised. He said, just like he sent famine in the land. He sent famine in the land. And Joseph's father and family, they tried to stay there, and they tried to he sent the sons up to go and to buy what it was they were needing to come back. But no matter what they did not have enough to sustain them. So they had to move. The only thing God is saying to us now is that stop trying to look for a way out to be able to stay where you are. He's saying that it's time to move. He sent in the place what is currently going on for the move. Because he says he has a Goshen for us someplace. He has a Goshen. He has a place already prepared because it was a part of his plan. He has a place already prepared for his people. When I told you at first, I told you it was a plan and a place. And then he comes back and he tells me on yesterday, he says that because the place that you're in has been compromised. And he's saying that it's time to move. So he already has a place. He has a place, and in that place, everything that we have need of is already in the place waiting. So he's telling us, he said, stop trying to make do and stop trying to fix the place where you're in, because what he sent in that place is designed to make us move. To give us an expected end. He didn't let me get away from that. Let me show you. This expected here, it means hope, expectation. It means to give us the thing that I long for. But this expected here is going to deal with the straining of the mind in a certain direction with an expectant attitude. This, what I'm telling you now, it goes back to wherefore gird up the loins of your mind. Your mind is going to be strained. because what you see is not going to be what God said. So you're going to have to strain your mind to go in the direction of what God said that he has for us, to go to the expected end. Girding up the loins of your mind is going to be critical. It's critical. Because the mind, your mind, that's why I say you're going to have to, it's going to take, and pressure is going to come. That's what the straining is, because you're going to see what you see, and yet you're going to have to believe what he said. And for some, what they see is going to take over what he said. That's why the expected end, it comes from the straining of your mind towards the direction in which God is calling us to bring us to this. As I said, girding up the loins of our minds is going to be critical, because it's so much easier for a lot of people to believe what someone says than to believe what you don't see. And that's the difference in faith. That's what faith, that's what brings faith into action, into view. And the mind is where the enemy fights for control. When I say fight, I mean he'll send things for you to hear. He'll send things for you to see. And you'll believe what you hear and what you see quicker than what you believe that the Lord is now saying. That's why I'm telling you, it's going to take the straining of your mind. You're going to have to press. You're going to have to, simple faith, childlike faith. You're going to have that. You're going to have to get to a place where, I like to say, I like to get dumb. Just really get dumb. Lord, I can't do nothing. Lord, I can't even think for myself. But you have to get to that place, and you know who it is you're talking to being in that position. Don't come telling me you don't know. You need to tell that to the Lord, because that's what he's looking at. That's what he's listening for. That's when he can lead us. That's when he can guide us. That's when we become pliable. We become movable. We become obedient. And then there's nothing to be said. All we do is we submit ourselves and we then follow. Because then we surrender and we are able to be led at that time. And the Bible always lets us know that them that are led by the Spirit, those are the ones, that's the Son of God. Take this, know this. Whatever you're about to witness in your life now, know that it's what God has already said that he was sending, because the place that we're in has been compromised. But according to God's plan, it hadn't been compromised unknowingly. He sent it. He sent it to make us aware that it's time to move. Don't fight. Just try to stay where you are. See what he's saying and let's move. God has a Goshen that he has prepared for his people.
All right.
He has a Goshen, y'all. I promise you. Gird up. Get ready for the journey. Gird up the loins of your mind. Gird up. Get ready for the journey. It won't be long, and it won't take us long to get to the place where God is calling us to, if everybody that's going is obedient. this journey don't have to take 40 years. And this one won't. Trust me, this one won't. This one will not. That's really enough for us to consider. If you consider the shift, prepare for the shift part 1, and if you add this to it tonight, then you'll see that God is preparing his people to take his people into the place where he already planned that we would be. And I want to say this in closing. I think for them that are covenant keepers, I think now we really do see the part. I know that now we really, let me say it like this. I believe with all that's in me that the part that Dr. Hurt left in consecration, that was a part, and it still is. It still plays a part in this shift at this time. Covenant keepers, trust me. Don't trust me. Trust the word that's coming forth from me. The shift is upon us, and consecration will shake the nation. Blessings to each and every one on tonight. Hi, I had to come back on live tonight because the question was asked, and dealing with the shift and the move. This is a spiritual move, and this is spiritual first. And I have to say it like this, because when we have received it by the Spirit, then when the time comes for the physical move, there's not going to be a problem. But it's going to be it's a spiritual move first. That's why he's been saying, gird up the loins of your mind. Prepare your mind. Prepare your mind to be obedient. Prepare your mind to believe what the Word of God is saying. Prepare your mind. I did want to say this. He can tell us what he's saying. And this is what he has said. This is what the Lord has said in Deuteronomy 6:4. In order for us to be able to see where God is taking us and the place that he's moving us from, but yet moving us into, he said, "Hear, O Israel." That's the first thing he said. That's the greatest commandment. He said, "Hear, O Israel." Everybody want to say the greatest commandment is to do what? Love. To love. How can you love without knowing what love is? He said, "Hear." A lot of people will never be able to see what God is saying or sending because they refuse to hear. That's why he also said, "Wherefore, let him that hath an ear to hear, let him hear." Your sight comes from your hearing. Your sight comes from your hearing. If you can't hear, you will not see. That's what I wanted to say. Spirit first, then this is going to be a natural move, but it's going to be a spiritual move first. The Spirit of God first, let it move in you, and then it will move you. I take it personal. I say you, but I'm talking about me. I'm talking about us. I'm talking about the believers. I'm talking about them that do know their God. God bless you.